So the next guest, you guys know him, a good friend of mine. He's become a good friend of mine. I got to meet him at a Max Kaiser event in Arizona. And when he told me how he cooked his pomodoro sauce, forget about it. I was in. And I was so surprised that I never heard about him before. But that's what the media does. That's what the mainstream does. Anybody who can think for themselves, anybody who has a different opinion outside the two-party narrative, they hide them. He used to be on all the shows. He opened his mouth in an anti-war fashion. He was one of the first who said, if we go into Afghanistan, we will lose. Well, about 12 years later, and how many trillions of dollars on the Joe taxpayer dollar, he was right. Ladies and gentlemen, from Trends Magazine, Gerald Celente is here.
Hello there. Thank you for having me on. And by the way, I'm sorry you guys really have been disrespectful to MS. You haven't said the right word. MS means more shit now.
Nice.
You got it? It's very clear. They're little prostitutes. You want to hear some stories? Oh, Oberman, I used to be on with him.
Yeah.
Hey, Rachel Maddow. Once upon a time, Tucker Carlson used to be on MSNBC. And I used to be on with him. And they had their studios down in Jersey, Secaucus, which, by the way, that used to be a place to slaughter pigs. That's what Secaucus used to be. So you still got a bunch of pigs over there. Anyway, they had a crummy little green room, and I'm sitting out there waiting to go on. And I'm listening to him talking to this woman. I forget what year it is. It's probably about 2006, 2008, around that time. And she leaves, and he comes out with her. He says goodbye to her. He said, Gerald, nice to see you. I said, who was she? I said, she's insufferable. He said, her name is Rachel Maddow, and they're grooming her. This is the same arrogant, I don't know which direction she flies in, but I have nowhere now, that call people like me crap. When I met you another time, when we did the Rage Against the War Machine rally. Remember how she came out against that? That little arrogant fat mouth of nothing, a little nothing piece of clown like all of them.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that guy Brzezinski's daughter name that you mentioned? What the other clown?
Mika.
Yeah. Oh, Brzezinski, may that son of a bitch rot in hell. Yeah. That scumbag. Oh, Celente, calm down. He was a rich cat from Poland that stole, who the hell are you? You're only a little guinea from the Bronx. Yeah. Oh, that little slime ball. Oh, everybody looks up to little Jimmy Carter. May that little fuck rot in hell. This is the Jimmy scumbag Carter who gave us Mujahideen, along with Brzezinski. We got to stop them Russians from going into Afghanistan to stop the Taliban. That's right. The Taliban were taking over Afghanistan. Afghanistan before the Taliban was a very advanced cultural society.
Hippie road.
Very advanced. Yeah. Anyway, Brzezinski, the Polish prick, launched the war against Russia. That we, the people of Slavelandia, by the way, helped pay for. Who did they bring in? Oh, a cat by the name of Osama bin Laden. That's right. The Saudi guy that became the head of the Mujahideen, better known today as Al-Qaeda.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about this. Nobody talks about it. MS, I was on with that. Well, what's her name? Brzezinski one time. I'm saying to myself, what a dumb chick this was. She was so stupid. She got the earplugs in and they're asking her to tell me different questions. Mm-hmm. I used to be on them. Again, they're nothing more than prostitutes. They're media whores that get paid to put out by their corporate pimps and government whoremasters. They sell us every war. They're ballers and dried out nothings, just to make it clear.
Gerald, there are many ways to go with this conversation because I have two things down. Because I think a lot of people would say Jimmy Carter. And I said, no. Jimmy Carter's actions. Because one other thing he did that really pissed me off was he held on. He provided cover for the Shah to come here. And all those people were held hostage. And he could have released over the Shah and got all those hostages. They didn't have to stay there for over a year, right? He provided cover. Obviously, you mentioned the names. You connected the dots. Brzezinski. Carter was awful when it came to foreign policy. Obama was awful when it came to foreign policy. But, you know, even when I look back, and it was before my time, maybe you can shed a little light on it. Eisenhower was considered to be one of the better presidents. He gave everybody his farewell address. But Eisenhower also led a coup in Ecuador. I believe it was Allende. I always forget the names. But once again, Eisenhower was convinced to also remove Mossadegh in Iran. I mean, when was the last good president we have? Have we had a decent president? Or are they all on this foreign policy trajectory, which we see Trump on today?
All right. This is one of my books, Trend Tracking, far better than Megatrends Time Magazine. This is how I became a trend forecaster. The Iran crisis. I told you how I started tracking trends during the Iran crisis of 1979. And I'll use this as a simple model. I remember going back to Jimmy Carter before I forget, this is the scumbag that also deregulated the airline industry. Yeah. Another piece of shit, Alfred Kahn, man, another arrogant little fuck, may he rot in hell. I'm from Cornell University, that deregulated the airline industry. There were hundreds of airlines. Here's what the deal was. The government set the prices. The airlines used to compete on services. I started flying first class in 1974. I worked for a major trade association. I was government affairs specialist. Flying from Chicago to Las Vegas, we put on a show over there. From Chicago to Las Vegas, they rolled down a roast. Would you like the roast? They're ready to cut it in front of you, or lobster thermidor. And of course, they had the bar upstairs, and I had my one hitter back then. But anyway, that's what it used to be. This is the same bastard that deregulated the banking industry. That's right. Once upon a time, banks were not allowed to go interstate. Bank of America, only in California. He was the first one that pushed it through, and that other little clown boy of nothing that's now worth about $150 million from Arkansas, this is the T-shirt I did when he ran for office in 1992. Wow. Beware of Slick Willie. He's the one that finally passed through the regulations that allowed interstate banking, and now just a few banks own the whole country. There were city banks. Every little city had all their banks. No more. The bigs took it all over. That's another Jimmy Carter. And I could keep going on with that arrogant little peanut farmer, probably with the balls the size of a peanut. That's the little scumbags running this country. The only one, by the way, I do have respect for Eisenhower in some ways. And again, not in other ways. And again, we all pull our shit in our lives, and I did mine. I told you I was a chief government affairs specialist for the chemical industry. I was killing environmental legislation at the height of the environmental movement in the 1970s. That's why I write about what was going on in D.C. with the Iranian conflict. I was living in Chicago and D.C. back then. At 28 years old, I was staying at the Willard Hotel, putting my meetings on the Hay Adams, the top place. Anyway, going back to the Iranian. People have no idea how the United States overthrew the democratically elected government of Mossadegh in 1953. So that was before Eisenhower. Eisenhower gets in 54. The CIA and the MI6 overthrew it. Kermit Roosevelt, Theodore Roosevelt's grandson, Greg, said, and you could look, the only newspaper that reported in 2017 when they released all the facts was the Financial Times. Winston Churchill, another piece of stupid, ugly, fat shit that people look up to, a murderous little scumbag, that couldn't fight his way out of a paper bag, like all of these arrogant little pieces of shit that love war that can't fight. Oh, Trump called himself a war hero. Hey, Gatson, you got 5 draft deferments for the Vietnam War, all right? I'm the same age as him. 5 he got. I'm a war hero. He called Netanyahu a war hero too, the genocide king. Going back, Financial Times is the only one that reported how the MI6 and the CIA, Churchill said, we have to stop Mossadegh. You know why? Because Mossadegh had the balls to say that oil in Iran, it does not belong to Anglo-Iranian oil, better known today as BP, or Standard Oil, better known today as ExxonMobil. It belongs to the Iranian people. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It belongs to us. They overthrew Mossadegh, brought in the Savak, the secret police. They murdered tens of thousands of Iranian people. The Savak, the secret police, made the SS look good. Going back, how I became a trend forecaster. Jimmy Carter comes back from spending New Year's Eve with the Shah and his wife. In those days, the president went up, he come out of the helicopter, and all the little boys dressed up in their little drag costumes salute. And he says that the Shah is the island of stability in the Middle East. In the Bronx, we used to say, bullshit has its own sound. At that moment, I became a political atheist, and here's what I did and became a trend forecaster. I said, I bet gold and oil prices will go up. I started playing the futures market. $5,000 bet in oil and gold. I brought up to almost $750,000. That's when I became a trend forecaster and a political atheist.
Yeah, I think we all have to kind of go on our own journeys. I have to say, Gerald, that's a remarkable story of.
That's when he became homeless, Matt.
That's how he became homeless. He was the first. You were the first.
I'm telling you, I was
homeless.
Yeah. I used to work on major political campaigns in Westchester County. I was the assistant to the secretary of the New York State Senate. I designed and instructed the course American Politics and Campaign Technology, how to run political campaigns, and I taught it at St. John's University. I was on the other side. If I wasn't on the other side, I wouldn't know what was going on. And then I started to grow up around 32 years old. You know, it's a learning process.
It's a learning process. Yeah, it's a learning process for everyone. And I do think it having the experience on the other side, that's the only way you're able to fully know how bad it is, because you saw it for yourself. I had a similar experience working every 4 years for the Democratic Party, knocking on thousands of doors, saying the other team is the one that's against you, we're the one for you. And then it hits you, right? You go, wait a minute, they're both out to get you. And then when you start to speak up and talk about it, the people that you thought were your friend, they're like, no, you're helping the other guy. So that anger just keeps coming, right? And so
I could care less what other people think. You know,
you don't care what
you guys are wrong. Listen, Gavin Newsom is going to be the solution to Trumpism. Gavin Newsom is fighting for us.
You mean Gavin got some?
Gavin got some.
You mean Patrick Bateman? Is that who we're talking about?
Gavin Newsom, the little arrogant, another little arrogant spoiled daddy's boy.
Yeah.
Another one little arrogant spoiled daddy's boy. This is a scumbag that brought the COVID war to America.
Yeah.
He was the first one to lock down everything as he's partying at the French Laundry up in Napa Valley, where it's only about $400 a plate. You do what I tell you to do. Don't you know who I am?
Yeah.
That little arrogant piece of crap. Oh, look at those dirty Democrats over there that were trying to stop what was going on in Texas. They're trying to redistrict so the Republicans could get more votes. Oh, now he's doing it in California. Well, that's all right. It's Gavin Newsom that's doing it.
Yeah. But by the way, Matt, I know you got a couple questions you want to get into, but watch Gavin Newsom's victory speech from the recall. It almost seems as if that was planned on purpose, because he went with that and he was like, they didn't just say yes to Gavin Newsom. They said yes to masks in schools. They said yes to more vaccines. They said yes to lockdowns. It was like this plan where they justified him to push through all these COVID protocols. And if you were paying attention to what was going on in California, it was ridiculous. A 14-year-old child didn't have to tell his parents that he was taking the shot, and the school would make up a fugazi, which means phony, record for that person to hide that young child's desires and needs. I mean, that's just bonkers, if you ask me.
You know, and how look how nice San Francisco. I left my heart in San Francisco. It's a shithole now.
It's terrible.
How about LA?
Well, yeah,
Look
no,
at
I mean,
the crap. The damage that's been caused by the COVID war is incalculable. Look at New York City. Go to New York and look at all the for rent signs everywhere. By the way, what no one's talking about is the coming office building bust. Your office vacancy rate is nearly 20%. I mean, nobody in them. Before the COVID war, it was around 11%. It takes years for this to happen because leases are 5-10-year leases. Now we're going into almost the 6th year where the COVID war began. Those leases are expiring and they're not being renewed. There's going to be major defaults in office buildings, major ones, and it's going to bring down a lot of the banks. Go back to 2023 when 3 banks failed: Silicon Valley Bank, First Republic, and Signature Bank. The markets were crashing and gold prices were spiking. 3 banks, you're going to see 300 banks. No one's talking about this. The damage that's been caused by the COVID war is incalculable. A lot of companies, look, let's say I had 10 floors in an office building, right? Now everybody, you can't work, you got to go home.
Yeah.
I'm saying to myself, I don't see these people anyway. They're in cubicles in 10 floors. Yes, stay home. I don't need all this space. That's what's going on. And then the people that were doing it said, I've been commuting an hour and a half each way. I had to be out of my mind. I'm not going to do this anymore. Where I am up in Kingston, New York, this place is flooded with people that came out, and it's a riot. Where are you from? We're from Brooklyn. I said, you mean you lived in Brooklyn? I didn't ask. You're not from Brooklyn, you know. All these people are from Brooklyn. You know, yeah, from Brooklyn, from somewhere else that was living in Brooklyn. But anyway, they're flooding up here, all over the country like that. And so there's going to be an office building bust. It's what Trump just said again when we were down there in what was that Rage Against the War machine? What was it 2022?
Yeah, 22. Yeah, in DC. Yeah, you might have met Matt there because Matt came on as a journalist. He was doing some reporting there. I think you might have met him briefly, but
all right. So again, I told you I used to be in DC in the 70s. It was a cool place, man. And you know, back in those days too, you know, they had a thing called secretaries, and he outnumbered the guys about 30-1. So I loved it down there. Anyway, the used to be a real cool place. When we were down there, I was blown away to see all the homeless people around there.
Yeah,
all the traffic circles, homeless people,
yeah.
for rent. The COVID war destroyed it. The damage the COVID wars created is incalculable, and no one talks about it. No one.
Yeah, we were thinking at the time, and you're talking about the Rage Against the War machine. It was what a weird moment that was, because you had this populist right for the first time in my lifetime were seemingly anti-war. We hadn't seen that before, at least in the most recent decades. And you knew that they knew that COVID was wrong, was the protocols were BS. You knew that they knew that there was some free speech issues, there was some censorship problems, and so we all gathered there, and there was no left that showed up. And you would think if you were to tell me, hey, this is an opportunity to bring people to a table we've never had before, and now we're going to actually get another movement from the left going again, because now this thing's going to happen, because that was before October 7th, right? So we were there that first year, and it seemed like an anti-war movement. But you fast forward till now, and you see like we've only gone backwards. That was not even a movement. It was a brief moment in time, like you said about the mainstream. Rachel Maddow's destroying that, calling it a bunch of crap, saying that it wasn't real. It seemed like it was real at the time, but maybe she was right. Maybe it wasn't real at all, because nobody there, except a handful of us, actually gave a crap about these moral issues of anti-war and free speech. And now we're further away. I feel like we're further away because now all those right right-wing populists, they're done with that. They are 100% like arrest people for protesting on campus and Israel first. It's baffling to me that movement has completely disintegrated. And I feel like we're further back than we ever were. And then what you're saying about COVID, that's the biggest part of it. How the hell have we lost the medical freedom movement now when we're talking about Trump being the worst on free speech of all that we've ever seen as far as criminalizing it? And you can't bring these movements together. That's, I think, our biggest problem here, Gerald, is our inability to bring these movements together under the same umbrella of principle and connect it. It seems like we're moving backwards. The louder we get, it seems like we're moving backwards. Your thoughts on that?
You need money to make it happen. Look what happened with Musk. He said we needed a new third party. Now he did a 180. And now he's for Vance. You can't do it without dough. End of story. Again, I was in the business running campaigns. The old Bronx saying, money talks, bullshit walks. Mm-hmm. And again, look what it costs to run for president. At least $1 billion.
Yeah.
So without the big money behind it, it's going to be very hard to make it happen. And again, the groups aren't uniting, and they're egotistical. They're only into their own concerns. They're not in for the betterment of everybody. By the way, here was Eisenhower's speech. Every gun that is made, every warship launched, every rocket fired signifies in the final sense a theft from those who hunger and are not fed, those who are cold and not clothed. The world in arms is not spending money alone. It's spending the sweat of the laborers, the genius of its scientists, the hopes of its children. This is not a way of life at all in any true sense. Under the clouds of war, it's humanity hanging on a cross of iron. All right? This is a 5-star general, supreme commander of the Allied forces in World War II, and 2-term president. You can look up his quote. He said, any man seeking the office of president is either an egomaniac or crazy. He was the president of Columbia University, and they talked him into running. And that's the truth. It's an egomaniac. And all you have to do is look at Trump. You can't get anybody more narcissistic than that cat right in front of your eyes. And they're all a bunch of liars. They're only concerned about themselves. They have no interest in we the people. Look what happened with Trump. Again, we'll only write the facts in the Trends Journal, how he was so anti-Bitcoin. And now we wrote when he got elected, Bitcoin prices are going to spike. Why? He got over $100 million from the crypto club guys and tens of millions of dollars from them from his inauguration. And he, his family, his people in his office, the kids, Lutnick, his kid, one after another, they're in the crypto business. So it's hypocrisy right in front of everybody's eyes. They're only concerned about themselves. They don't care about we the people. And the only way it's going to happen, you're right, they have to unite, but people aren't uniting. Again, we're going to be having a peace rally up here in Kingston. I have them every year on September 27th. So far, we have Joe Lauria, Judge Napolitano, and Scott Ritter. And we're doing the best we can. One of my tenants, I have 3 of the buildings on the most historic 4 corners in America. Kingston was the first capital of New York State. The British burnt it down after the Battle of Saratoga. I have a 1763, a 1774 Academy, and the 1750 Franz Roggen House. I used to rent out to the Nova Foundation, Warren Buffett's son Peter, that space for about 10 years. Never gave me a penny for peace. Never gave me a penny for my peace rallies. He came to one of them when Ralph Nader was here. Never gave me a penny for peace. Never even says hello to me. I'm only a little guinea from the Bronx. Hey, my daddy is, my daddy is Warren Buffett. You're just a little guinea. Never you would even say hello to me. That's the rich people. It's up to the Renaissance happened. How can the Renaissance happen? Oh, the Medicis made it happen, right? Yeah, the banksters. You can't do it without money.
Gerald, there was a kind of time where I think independent media, a lot of them, and I don't know if they've done this before. We certainly saw it with a lot of people on the left. They became blue no matter who, and that was people in the independent media sphere. And I think a lot of those people kind of split off from a lot of us, where we were like, no, we're not playing this game anymore. We look at the two-party duopoly as a two-party illusion. They're really one party, one bird with two dirty wings. That's what they are. But just recently, you were put in a situation where you might have supported RFK in the beginning, but then when he came out, his stances on Israel, you asked for your money back, right? Yep. And you no longer supported him. Right. You also used to do a lot of shows in independent media, but maybe you're not asked back there anymore because of your anti-Trump stance.
I used to be on Alex Jones. I used to host an hour show for many years. I used to go to Austin, Texas, go out to dinner with him when he came to New York.
Yeah.
And I won't. Again, I used to be on Oprah a couple of times. I used to be on MSNBC, ABC, Fox and Friends all the time. Everybody. They don't want me on because I won't swallow their shit.
Yeah. Well, the mainstream media, I understand why they got rid of you, because once again, they're the stenographers for the ruling class. What are your thoughts on some of those independent guys? Let's talk about Alex Jones. His stance
another little
on Trump.
Clown boy I called out is Greg Hunter. I call him Greg Hunter. He spelt it wrong. This little boy of nothing. I used to be on USA Watchdog all the time. And doing him a favor, I didn't get a lot of business from it. You know, it wasn't a big deal for me. I didn't get a lot of views. He doesn't have a big show. I used to do it for him. He called me an anti-Semite and called my magazine propaganda because I'm against the genocide going on in Israel. Yeah. And of course, I called him out fact by fact. Right. A little boy of nothing. Again, come over here and talk to me like that. Come over here and talk to me like that. These guys got no balls. They're only tough behind the screen, all right? You got it? Yeah. Here, stop calling them the left. People have missed, this is what I was looking for, the term. They're not liberals. Look up the definition of liberal. Willing to respect or accept behavior or opinions different from one's own, open to new ideas, relating to or denoting a political and social philosophy that promotes individual rights, civil liberties, democracy, and free enterprise. All right? They're not liberals. Yeah. They're pieces of shit.
Yeah. Well, I think we feel like sometimes this language, I mean, we've had discussions of language on the show all the time about, you know, who gets the right to a word, and if it gets captured, do we let it go? Do we come up with our own? But yeah, I feel like we've let these words we used to believe in, they've been totally hijacked. I haven't said the word liberal about myself forever because I think that it's because they captured it and redefined it.
The left.
Yeah.
They're not the left.
Yeah, they're not
pieces of crap with small minds. Yeah. Just to make it clear.
I think we use the term culture war left, synthetic left. They're not real left. Yeah, I mean, I refer to like
woke left, right?
Anti-imperialist left.
They don't put them in a category, is what I'm saying.
Don't even give them the benefit of being
conservatives, liberals, this or that. You call them what you don't call a murderer. You put them in a category.
Yeah.
They're murderers. Yeah. You don't throw them in a box.
Yeah.
And so this is another thing too. You know about I have a very good friend. He's an Israeli, and just saw him the other night. We talked about the demonstration they had last week in Israel. Over 1 million people took to the streets. Yeah. I said, this doesn't mean anything. I said, I've been at this a lot of years. The only way it works, and the proof is there, was with the coming down of the Berlin Wall. Day after day, week after week, more people went there, and they didn't leave. More people came, and they didn't leave. More and more came, and they didn't leave. Week after week, week after week, week after week, until they outnumber those little boys in their uniforms with the guns by about 20,000 to 1. Put down the guns and the wall came down. This is a quote from Caspar Weinberger. Defense Secretary Caspar Weinberger, in an interview taped Friday from a broadcast on WNET TV in New York, said, "The fact that very large numbers of people turned out for a particular event is certainly something that people noticed. But I don't think anybody rushes back to say we have to change our policy or something because there's a rally." All right? That's exactly it. One day and it goes away. You got to do it over and over and over and over and over again.
Were you part of the Occupy Wall Street movement?
No, I wasn't. I supported it, but they didn't come up with any platform. I tried talking to them.
Yeah.
They wouldn't come up with it. I tried talking to them. I said, you got to come up with a direct platform. You're too strapped all over the place without. I went to a number of their rallies. You need a platform. And they wouldn't listen to me.
They had a slogan. It was "We are the 99% or something." That was.
But I get you need a platform. This is what we want.
Yeah, exactly.
You need a bottom line. Again, I was killing environmental legislation. It's the height of the environmental movement. I worked on major political campaigns. I know how to run this show. But again, I'm just a stupid little guinea. Again, just to make it clear. What do I know? I only have best-selling books, Trends 2000, on and on, international. But what do I know? Why should I listen to you? Don't you know who I am? I'm an artist. I'm somebody else. I've been at this so many years, you have no idea. And they don't listen to crap. It's the ego. I used to teach close combat. Had my own school for many years. Brad Steiner, the number one close combat guy in America, was my teacher's teacher, John Perkins. And Brad Steiner used to write for the Trends Journal magazine. The first thing we were taught in close combat, the only time your ego gets into place is when your life is on the line. The only time your ego gets into place is when your life is on the line. That's when your ego comes in. But people's egos control their lives. It's a waste of life. And that's what all these people have, are their egos. They don't listen to any. I could not be a trend forecaster if I didn't have an open mind. I listen to what everybody has to say. I read what everybody's writing that I can. Like take the Israel war. I subscribe to Haaretz, the Israeli newspaper. I go to Times of Israel, Ynet, Jerusalem Post. I want to hear what they have to say. I go to IRNA, ISNA, Press TV, Tehran Times. Want to hear what the Iranians have to say. I go to Al Jazeera, Arab News, Middle East Monitor, Middle East. I want to hear what the Arabs have to say. I go to Press 24. I go to Euronews, etc. U.S. papers, news. You have to have an open mind. People don't have it. They're locked into their little, I'm a liberal, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, I'm a conservative. I got a mind the size of a pea.
Do you think the Occupy movement failed because
they didn't have a platform? Simple as that.
But yeah, there are people who said rather than leaders take the bull by the horns and create a platform, that they were trying to create a space where everybody had a say. Isn't there something wrong when you provide a place where everybody has something to say?
Hey,
because
look,
then too many people have stuff
too much
to say.
to listen to if everybody has something to say.
Yeah.
Look how elections are won. Look what's going on in New York City with the guy Mandani.
Yeah.
All right? People are stressed out. They need dough. I'll give you a free bus. I'll give you free groceries with city grocery stores. Go lower the prices. How did Trump win? I'm going to create jobs. I'm going to increase your income. You got to have a platform. You got to play to the people.
Yeah.
So does the Free Palestine movement, that has a platform, the college campus?
It's not national. Most people don't give a shit about that.
But there's a very clear platform of divesting.
It's not enough to win a national election on.
Right. But this is not about winning.
The platform has to be, we're not get involved in these foreign entanglements.
Yeah.
Anybody that wants to go support a war overseas, put on your military drag, get your guns, get your weapons, send your money over there, send yourself, your wife, your kids, your transgenders, go over there or shut your mouth. You got it? That's the way I would do it.
Yeah.
I want to bring Occupy Peace, get out of the 800 bases that we're in about 70 countries.
At least 800, yeah.
Yeah. Bring home the troops, secure the homeland, and put the troops to work rebuilding our third world infrastructure. Yeah. Give them skills, a work progress administration like they had back in the Great Depression. Give them skills. What, 20 vets are killing themselves a day?
22.
All right?
Yeah.
Give them skills. Give them a purpose. So we have a platform. Oh, and another platform of Occupy Peace? You want to go to war? This will really piss off the politicians. Let the people vote.
Yeah.
So you need a platform. Again, I know how to do this stuff. And I've been at it a long time. Again, I worked on major political campaigns. And I was assistant to the secretary of the New York State Senate. I'm 26 years old. I'm eating shrimp cocktails, and there's Malcolm Wilson. Roosevelt died, the governor of New York. He died screwing a chick. And Malcolm Wilson, lieutenant governor, was there. He became the governor. My boss, Al Abrams, and I've got the other guy's name, the majority leader, the party, the Republic. I was there with the top guys in my Robert Hall suit. I saw it at the top, and I saw it was nothing when I got there. I quit. Nobody could believe I was going to quit. Yeah. Or the way you get to the top in politics is you got to suck your way up to the top. You got to bend over and suck your way up. Yeah. That's how you get to the top. Yeah. Warren Anderson, that was the guy. Warren Anderson.
So you're talking about creating a platform moving forward. What type of platform is going to be needed to get everybody involved, or enough people involved to get on the same boat? Because I know there's a lot of people.
I'm trying to do it with Occupy Peace. Bring home the troops, cut back the military. Hey, you elect me, I'm going to be a peace president, all right? All right? I'm in that war 24 hours, all right? In Ukraine, all right? Hey, now I'm elected. I'm in that war before I get into office, all right?
Yeah.
And now you got $1 trillion defense budget.
Yeah.
And you're telling Europe 5% of their GDP got to go into defense? So my platform is cut that defense. Again, I want to do what Eisenhower said. The military-industrial complex is robbing the nation of the genius of the sciences, sweat of the labors, and the future of the children. Look, we've spent hundreds of trillions of dollars since World War II on the military-industrial complex and wars. Hundreds of trillions. Could you imagine if we put that into science and real education? We'd have the cleanest energy and the highest style of life that the planet could ever invent. That's what I want to do.
Yeah. How do you tackle healthcare? That's what I was getting at.
You tackle healthcare by telling people, if I was elected president, I'd have a fat tax. The more you weigh, the more you pay. Stop eating this shit.
What do you do for tall guys in that scenario?
Stop eating this shit. Look at my generation. Take a look at the pictures from Woodstock. It wasn't blimpitis back then. What happened was my generation, they started when I was in college. Oh, women are as smart as men. Yeah, I know they are. You should get into the workforce. Up until that time, look at wages declining from the mid-1970s. Back then, unions were very strong. It's a thing called supply and demand. Men were in the workforce. Women were raising their children. They weren't at work and putting them in nursing homes for children that they call daycare centers. You're out of your mind when you're a kid. If my mother didn't raise me, I'd be dead. You're feeding them crap food. You're screaming your brains out as a kid with other kids screaming their brains out. They're not daycare centers. They're nursing homes for children. Look at the levels. Now the obesity rate is what, 42%? Look up the numbers about how much it is costing the medical industry for obese and overweight people. Oh, we were talking before about the COVID war. Who was dying from it?
Yeah.
People with pre-existing comorbidities. Oh, all those kids they forced to stay home and not go to school. Look up the numbers, not mine. CDC. Under 2,000 1 to 17-year-olds died of COVID. They stopped doing the numbers in either June or July of 2023. You know how many people there are 1 to 17-year-olds? 73 million. Under 2,000 died. According to the CDC, 61% of those hospitalized were obese.
Yeah. Now, our healthcare system is designed that way.
It's a drug dealer system.
It's a drug. Yeah. So it's sick.
It's a drug dealer system.
Yeah. It's a drug dealer system.
That they call big pharma.
Yeah.
They're drug dealers.
Yeah. So what?
Here, wait.
Has any?
This is the first book I worked on back in the 1980s. Natural healing. I have an honorary doctorate from the National University of Health Sciences. I know this stuff.
So
it's up to the individual to take control of their lives.
Yeah, I don't want to push back, but go ahead, Matt. Because I'm saying I get that, but we have a whole system of programming. They have no. I don't blame a lot of people for the choices that they make when they aren't given a lot of choices. They aren't given the means to make their own food, to grow their own food.
They can make it. You don't give them those stamps, those food stamps, and let them buy fast food and soda, all right?
I agree.
Here's food stamps. You have to buy vegetables, fruits, and meats, all right?
Yeah.
So are you for what RFK Jr. Is saying? He's taking the off of food stamps. He's taking the soda off of
Absolutely.
Food
I'm for a lot of RFK Jr.'s things on the health side.
So why is he not doubling down on making it? So I think what Craig was maybe alluding at is we have people getting stuck in the fast food cycle of crappy food because it's the cheapest thing.
It's not cheap. It's not cheap. I can make risotto and feed 4 people at the highest quality level for about $10. All right.
Yes, there's creative ways to do that, but just the soda thing alone. The sodas when you walk in the store, I mean, the sodas are the
no. But you're talking about
like $1, $2 for.
No, I want to stay on what you said. You said about people eating inexpensive fast food. It's not inexpensive. It's a lot cheaper to make it on your own. End of story.
There's a lot of other factors, Gerald. There's the factor of, I mean, well, here's probably the biggest one.
What's the other factor? Is
the fact that we used to say big pharma, we talk about big food. Big food
What's
intentionally.
The factor that you can't?
Let's look at like the chicken fast food. There's Church's Chicken. There's Popeye. These are strategically put in.
You're going off to a different direction.
Okay.
I said, why can't people cook it themselves? End of story. Tell me why.
They haven't been taught.
Time, stress, not being able to pay rent.
Stress? Oh, what am I, jerking off all day? I don't have any time to cook? They're more busy than me?
There's people working 3-4 jobs Hey, there's several reasons. I'm saying there's several reasons. There's also,
if you go into a fast food joint and you're sitting down there eating that crap, you could spend that time cooking. I don't want to hear it. Just to make it clear.
you know, there was a you talk about putting money into science. There was a research done on specifically the ingredients that go into a church's chicken sandwich, and they found that the chemicals that were put into it on purpose that were not needed, they were addictive chemicals.
Highly
like
addictive.
drugs,
Again,
right?
I don't give a.
Okay, so people's
You're
addiction.
on your own.
You're on your own. Okay.
You're on your own.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear another word.
You're on your own. So you are so the Maha movie. Let's go. Let's step out.
And I want to make this clear.
Let's take a okay.
I want to make this clear. My daddy didn't leave me any money. They left me everything I am. The heart and spirit of to be an individual on your own and live at the highest level you can do. All right?
No, yeah, I absolutely.
And that was the American spirit.
Personal responsibility. Pull
You
yourself
got
up by
it.
your bootstraps. Yes.
You're on your own.
Yes. Yes.
I had
yeah.
to beat the draft. You talked about, guys winning these awards for colleges and this. I went to the second stupidest college in the United States. The only one I could get in. I got left back in the 5th grade. I barely got out of high school. I wanted to beat the draft. If you went to school, the only school I could get into, a greaser from the Bronx, was Morris Harvey College in Charleston, West Virginia. Imagine 1965, Charleston, West Virginia. People there, by the way, were very nice. I said to my father, I said, Pop, what should I do? They get drafting everybody. He said, I taught you enough. You figure it out. I knew a guy that was stupider than me that got into school. I said, Pop, I need money to go to school. He said, you go to school, you get your own money, you make it happen. All right? That's the way it is.
Yeah. You're tapping into the original. That's the the sentiment of doing it yourself. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. The whole thing. I'm with you on that. I think it's also the education part. You said we should be putting money take it out of the military and industrial complex, put it into science, put it into education, real education.
Yeah. The education system we have, as Judge Napolitano calls it, it's a government school system. It's a brainwashing system.
Empire education is what I call it.
So one of the tools we could theoretically on paper, this is what I would say, in order to, because I champion what you're saying, Gerald. I say yes, give people the tools to pull themselves up and take personal responsibility. If they don't have the information and they don't know that these institutions are designed to hurt them, to get them hooked on drugs, to propagandize them, to get them into routines that work against their own interests, that get them to vote against their own interests. If we give them the tools to recognize, and I think other countries do, I think people in Russia and China, they're a lot more aware of when there's propaganda in their face than we are. We have no idea. Americans have no idea.
That's every country. Every country, everybody buys the crap.
Can I ask you a question, Gerald?
Yeah.
Why did they take smoking commercials off the air?
Because they were killing people.
Yeah, but it was also part of the programming they were stopping to stop that, right?
Actually. Again, I as a kid that grew up during it, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Winston tastes good like a cigarette should.
Salem is cool.
You buy the commercials. Now, why they take them off now? Let's go back to, we're talking about the drug dealers that people call Big Pharma.
Yeah.
Beware of Slick Willie. He let the drug dealers do the drug commercials back on TV in 1997. They were banned before that.
Yeah. Yeah. And all I'm saying is that
now people are drug addicted.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Pharma addicted.
All I'm saying, Gerald, is I think there's an element of that same thing going on that's captured our government too as well, that needs to be addressed as well as taking individual responsibility for your own health, that we need to also stop that shit because we program these kids as well. Did you ever hear about the whole situation about all these poor neighborhoods that don't have a park, but you know where the park is located? In a McDonald's. So if a mother wants to take a kid to go on a slide, He's got to go to a fucking McDonald's to do something. That's by design. So I just think that has to be addressed too as well. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's on purpose. It's on purpose.
Again, advertisement, it controls the mind. Again, I bought it as a kid.
Yeah.
I was smoking like crazy as a young kid. I was 7 years old. I said, I'm going to tell mommy and daddy. I mean, I got caught smoking. You listen to the commercials. As a kid, you buy the crap, and I didn't stop smoking until I got married. When I was married, my former wife said to me, you keep smoking. She said, I want to stay with you, and I quit. But again, I bought into the crap. You buy it. You're addicted to. It's part of it. It's brain control.
Yeah.
I remember all the commercials. Halo shampoo, Halo. You remember this stuff. I remember my mother. I'll tell you a funny story. My mother, may she rest in peace. Everybody used to want to come to Aunt Marie's. She was the best cook in the family. And anyway, my youngest sister wanted my mother to buy us SpaghettiOs. I remember my mother's this great Italian woman making the finest of everything. So my sister's crying. One day my mother buys us SpaghettiOs. We had a dog named 90. This dog would almost eat a rock. He'd eat anything. And my mother makes the SpaghettiOs to my little sister, and she takes a couple of bites of it. I don't want to eat this. My mother took up the rest of it and threw it in the dog's bowl. And the dog jumps up, goes to the bowl, took one bite of it and walked away. The dog was used to eating all the scraps that we had for dinner. It was fun.
Wouldn't eat the SpaghettiOs.
Wouldn't eat SpaghettiOs.
Yeah.
But the commercials. I remember I begged my mother to buy a TV dinner. When they first came out.
I remember those
the commercials.
Yeah. I used to watch Godzilla, and I'd say, get the one with the little small chocolate cake.
Well, listen, thanks for having me on. I appreciate all you're doing.
Yeah. Let everybody know where they can find you, what you got going on. I know you got a great event coming up, so please.
We have a Occupy Peace and Freedom rally coming in Kingston on the four corners of freedom, John and Crown Street. Go to occupypeace.com. And starting at 2 p.m. so far, we have Judge Napolitano, Scott Ritter, Joe Lauria, and others we mentioned. And we're doing everything we can. And
what day is that?
It's Saturday, September 27th, starts at 2 p.m.
Gotcha.
And again, this is the seeds of democracy was sown here. I went for jury duty, and the guy putting on the show said, you see that picture over my shoulder? That's John Jay. The first Supreme Court judge was a judge right over here, right across the street. He said when Kingston was the capital of New York State, the Constitution that was written for New York State, right here in that building, over 70% of America's Constitution comes from that Constitution. And that's why I bought these buildings, because the seeds of democracy was sown here.
Wow.
And I'm only me because I'm Napolitano, born in the Bronx, born to be free. And on the other notes for people listening, watch out for one of our trend forecasts that we made in January that they're talking about now in the major media, .com bust 2.0. They're way over invested in these AI companies.
Yeah.
Trends are born, they grow, they mature, reach old age, and die. The cover of the Trends Journal magazine in February 5th, I think it was .com bust 2.0. They're just talking about it now. We were talking about China. I taught before they came into the World Trade Organization in 2000, 10% of Chinese, and you were talking about people going to college and being educated, 10% went to college, 18-year-olds. Now almost 70%. And they're AI and high-tech addicted. There are 20 million 18-year-olds versus 4 million 18-year-olds here. And they're very advanced mentally and technologically. China's going to lead the world in AI. Love it, hate it, it's the future. And again, I'm not a fan of AI, but it's what it's going to be. And it's just going to keep going and growing and growing, and it's going to take over. Again, we have a whole AI section in the Trends Journal every week. And like it or not, and there's the weaknesses and terrible things about it, it's going to take over the world. There's going to be, by the way, one of my trends in the book Trends 2000, this one is an international bestseller. I write about interactive view. Remember, this is written in 1996, and now it's happening. There's going to be more and more at-home learning through AI.
Yeah.
AI is going to be the new teacher. And it's just going to be another level of new propaganda.
Yeah. Gerald, is there going to be a dip in Bitcoin anytime soon so we can get in, or do you suggest get in now? And
it's dipping now, but again, I'm positive on it because the Trump family's in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm positive in it. You know, it's it's the future. And you're going to, and things are going to go digital. The world's going digital. China.
Do you think it's too far gone at 117K though, or is it
down to 113K as we're talking now?
Okay.
No, it could go down to 70,000, but still a lot of dough.
Yeah.
I bought it at 17,000.
You're buying dinner if I come out there, pal. Just got to say that.
Anytime.
And
I'm still very bullish on gold.
I know. Yeah. Still. Yeah. Judge Napolitano is too as well. So but a lot of people talk about gold.
Yeah.
If our currency goes down, gold goes up, and that looks like what's going to happen. Unless, Gerald, we have some more quantitative easing, which is more like the United States invades another country and steals their resources and prints a lot of dollars behind it. Who knows?
Who knows?
Venezuela.
No, stop that. Gerald Celente, Trench Journal, everybody. Thank you so much, Gerald Paisan. Have fun in your event. It sounds like a good one.
And thank you for all that you're doing, you guys.
Thanks, Joe.
Appreciate it, Joe. We love you, brother.
Okay, let me take a moment to introduce you to our good friends over at World Harvest Food Bank right here in LA. World Harvest has been serving families across Los Angeles for 18 years now, and they started with this simple idea. Everyone deserves access to healthy, affordable food no matter what they're going through. With their Cart with a Heart program, families can walk away with a full cart of groceries, fresh produce, dairy, meat, and pantry supplies for just a $50 contribution. That's for the entire cart. That same cart would cost over $300 at a typical grocery store. At World Harvest, everyone is welcome. They don't ask for income verification, ID, or any paperwork. No. Basically, their doors are open to anyone who's doing their best, but just needs a little extra push to get by. If you're an Angelino like me, you know the times have been tough here. First with all the union strikes, the LA fires, and now the ICE raids going on. It seems like we're living in a constant state of uncertainty. And that's why it's so important to support local charities like World Harvest, because they aren't just helping the community. They're an essential function in its very survival. World Harvest is located at Venice and Arlington. And right now, you can use our special discount code THL20 for 20% off your contribution amount at checkout. And if you're not in the LA area, you can still help out with a $50 donation, which will provide a full cart of food for a family by going to worldharvestfoodbank.org or scan the QR code for more info. Or you can just spread the word. Follow them online. Let people know they're here for them, because at the end of the day, it's about providing choice, access, and relief without barriers. World Harvest Food Bank. End hunger now.